Hey guys, it's Traffic Cones, and today we have a very unorthodox video. In Florida, it feels like it's 2 degrees outside, and I am not about to sit in the garage. But today we will be polishing the crankshaft, and let me show you all the tools that I have right now. Here am I not in the garage today, but we are in the bathroom, on the bathroom floor of my apartment. Today I have 2,000 grit sandpaper, 1,000 grit sandpaper, acetone, aluminum polishing metal, WD-40, and a cut up shirt that I just cut up. Essentially, to polish the crankshaft, you need very fine polishing sandpaper, which is why I'm using the 1,000 and 2,000. This is very quick process. Actually, it's probably not really quick, but essentially the whole process entails of you just taking out some sandpaper, cutting out to the size that you need. I already started this process. Essentially, you would just wrap it around here. Since this is a cheap budget build, and all this is doing is polishing, it shouldn't remove any material. What you should do, what I am not today doing, what you should do is use a micrometer and measure the amount of distance, not measure distance, but measure the metal that is being removed from here. And yeah, and then determine that, if you're removing if you're just removing too much material. I'm going to freshen up this crankshaft after I polish it. So I'm going to polish it and then freshen it up, get this all cleaned, because it just has been sitting on the floor in the garage for the most part. And we are getting prepped to putting the crankshaft together. The crankshaft and pistons and rods and stuff like that. So we need to get this polished. So as you can see, there's gunk here and there all across the motor. I'm going to use a WD-40 to lube up the sandpaper and show you guys. Essentially here, use a shoelace or something, wraps around, and I'm going to show you guys what the end results looks like because I only have one hand. Actually, 1 second. Phone charger, and the process I'm doing to do this is just wrapping it around because the t-shirt works for some people, but for me, it's just not spinning enough. And what I'm having to do to combat that is literally just use this cord, essentially wrap it a couple of times and it works. You just need it just enough to where it puts enough tension on there. I have a long enough strip of sandpaper to wrap it a couple of times. So I just did 5 passes before. I had an error with this, but 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So that's a pass of 25. Try not to put too much tension on there. It's really just rubbing it. And from there, essentially, this is what it looks like afterwards. The line is gone. I just did 25 here, and essentially, this is what it looked like previously. But these are like the progressions. So this one's probably our best one so far. I'm gonna take a cloth and wipe this down and work my way back, and then I can show you guys right now. So wiping it. And that's how it looks. Yeah. So I would just do this for the remainder of these and make sure you count so it can be evenly distributed. Try not to put too much tension on there. It won't do much removing of the metal since it is just 1,000 grit, and I'm gonna fine tune it and polish it with the 2,000 grit. But yeah, so we want to try to get this as smooth as possible without putting too much tension. Make sure you get evenly passes and even strokes. So I did 25, 25, 25. I'm gonna give 25 to these two, and that should be it for the 1,000. Thank you, and we will continue to do this. All right, so we now have sanded the crank using the 1,000 and 2,000 grit. If you look at it now, it is very, the line that was here initially is gone. We have wave lines now. I wonder if that's from hopefully it's not from unevenness, but it being uneven. But I'm pretty sure that's also from the wire itself, being pushed onto it. But what we're gonna do now is polish it. This looks good to go. Yeah, Now we're gonna polish it using the mag and aluminum polish. I'm gonna use the same rag, put some on here, and then polish it, and then show you guys the after. All right, and just like that, we have polished the crank. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit more when it is like before it goes into the motor by acetoning the sides and stuff like that. But if you look at the crankshaft, look at it now. Like this is literally a photo finish. Hold on. Click. There we go. But no, this thing looks absolutely amazing compared to what it was originally when we first started. That is how you polish a crank. I was very gentle with this. I tried not to use pretty much any force and just let the sandpaper roll with it and move it back and forth. With that being said, especially with the sandpaper that I use, it should not be removing any material at all. Like if you started with anything below 1,000, then you'd be kind of cooked, because then it would be eating at the metal. And it kind of tells you right here on here. So like 1,000, say 400 to 1,000 is like blender, and then anything above that is like polish. And honestly, the more closer and closer you get to 5,000, it'll basically make the metal as smooth as possible, which is something that you do want, but 2,000 is more than enough. But yeah, it is very, very clean. Yeah, this is pretty much ready. I don't know how to move this still at the end, but this is pretty much ready and good to go into the motor. I still haven't ordered the parts yet. I should be ordering them next week, or I might do it today, who knows. But that is pretty much how you polish a crankshaft at home with just a few materials. Took me some time. I'd say it probably took me about 2 hours maybe. But yeah, I'd probably save myself $250, which is a whole bunch of hours of working. But that's how you polish a crank. Thank you guys for watching my short segment.